Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, your Florida electrician. All right, so you went to plug something into one of your receptacles, aka an outlet, and it doesn't work. What's the first thing that you try? You obviously want to do the easiest thing. All right, I plugged in a plug checker. You can also use a table lamp if you know the light works or something similar. But I plugged this in. This is my house. The outlet doesn't work. And I'll tell you what, I don't know why. It hasn't worked for some time. I'm selling the house. I need to fix it. What's the first thing you do? All right, we got no lights. Let's start with the easiest. All right, so one of the easiest things to do would be, before you break out any tools, go around and check all the switches in the room. Go ahead and turn all the switches on. For me, it's easy. I have mine marked already, but yours may not be. Go around the whole room, start turning switches on, and keep an eye on the lights on that plug checker. Clearly, that didn't work. So I want you to take the plug checker out of whichever outlet you have it plugged into. If it's top, move it to the bottom. If it's in the bottom, move it to the top. And then you want to go around and turn your switches on and off again and keep an eye on the plug checker. The reason for that is a lot of houses were wired where they wired half the outlet to be on a switch, because the code says you need to have a way to turn on a light in a room without entering the room. Some builders will put a light in the ceiling. Other builders won't put a light in the ceiling. They'll turn the plug into what we call a half hot, controlled by the switch, where you can turn on a table lamp or a floor lamp. That's how they get around the code and not having a light in the ceiling. So you may have some switches you don't know about. Go ahead and turn them on and watch the plug. One of these switches may turn on that outlet. So go ahead and do that loop again with all the switches. Well, in my case, that didn't work. So we're going to need some tools, probably a flat screwdriver, a fill-up screwdriver, or a screw gun. At least this voltage tester at the very minimum. I'll put links to one of these. This will tell you whether you got 24, 48, 120, or 240 volts. I'll show you how to use it. And possibly a Klein multimeter. I'll put a link to this one too. We still have to assume that maybe behind the outlet there's still power back here, so we still got to work carefully. And let me show you how to do that. First, we're going to get this plate off. Take the trim plate off. All right, if you're going to pull one of these out, you want to make sure you grab it by the yoke. The yoke is the part here that supports the outlet. All right, it's the top or the bottom, and you only want to hold it from there. You don't want to grab it from the sides. That's a great way to get a shock. Right now, the outlet's kind of stuck in the wall a little bit from the paint. Keep it straight. Don't hit the sides, because a lot of these boxes in these old houses are metal boxes. So grab it with one hand and pull it out carefully, what you can. Always assume that there's power, because there very well may be. But what I can do is use this little tool, and I want to grab, there is a, see, they put tape around this so it wouldn't touch the metal box. Let me get a better angle. All right, I want to try to get you a better view. I want to take and touch one screw on this side with this lead and another screw on the other side. It doesn't matter whether it's the black or the red on the other side. And I want to see if I get any lights on here. And I don't get any lights. Something would light up if I had voltage, okay? But this will only tell you down to 48 volts. So what we're going to need to do is use my Klein meter, because I want to see if there's any voltage at all. 3 volts, 5 volts, 10 volts, 25 volts. Yeah, this is way more accurate than just the lights coming on here. So yeah. Okay, continuing from about 2.5 months ago. Been busy. My last meter, batteries crapped out in it, ruined the meter. So I got my new meter that I have yet to do a video for. Anyway, what we need to do here, I checked it with my plug checker. I checked it with the other checker that doesn't give you any voltage, but it just tells you whether it's 120 volts, 240. This one, I want to see the numbers. If I have 10 volts or something like that. Really nothing, 0.08. So I am not feeling hopeful with this video, this outlet being working. And it looks like old wire. Looks like something, I don't know. Need my tone generator. But I'm pretty sure this goes up into the attic. And I need to look. I hope they didn't cut it when they put the AC in. That was a long time ago though. If I have my tone generator, I can stick it on there and try to follow it up in the attic. So let's go find out. All right. Oh, look what I found. Oh, I think I found the problem. Okay, so we know now why it doesn't work. That's some of the old wiring. I had planned on replacing all the wiring. Apparently I never got to this one. I cut it and forgot about it. So we saw it laying up there. I have a wire that was curled up that I probably planned on using it to make it over to here, but I am not sure there's that much wire left in the attic for pulling it over to here. The worst thing that could happen is I cut this cover out, put a cut-in box, try to pull the wire down and then have it be too short. That would suck. In that case, I would have to tie another wire onto the end of that and re-pull the rest and then connect it in the junction box up there. That would be the worst. So it's my house. I should make sure it's working for the new homeowners. Someday when they see this video, they'll really appreciate it. All right, the good news is I know I have wire and I have a Sawzall to cut that box out. And probably a cut-in box, but damn. I have to get all through here. Okay, we know why the outlet won't work. So I gotta cut this out of here. Looks like I did the rest of the house except for this one. I looked at the wire a long time ago, apparently. The way they connected it. No wire nuts, just tape. I deemed it not safe, so I cut it. I just haven't used it since, so. The good thing is, back in the day, they didn't staple this stuff in the wall. They just ran the wires down, so I'll have half a chance. I think I'll be able to pull the wire down without cutting the box out. It's got a big opening there. If you do decide to do something like this, don't be afraid. It doesn't work anyway. If you can't fix it at this point, you got to call an electrician. If you try to fix it and you can't fix it, you got to call an electrician. You might be able to fix it, even if you do it yourself. So yeah, it feels like I can pull it. I'm going to connect the wire on upstairs. Okay, so what I did here was take the old wire that was cut, tie it onto the wire that was up here that I had planned for this, apparently years ago, and tried to make it as smooth as possible, because I'm going to go downstairs and try to pull this myself. Yeah, so I got a loop here. Goes around. Hopefully it's long enough. It's probably gonna get stuck on that. And that's the whole reason why I cut the wire in the first place. I saw that as being unsafe. I'm like, hell no, not in my house. So the people that are gonna buy this house, you see this, you gotta thank me for running new wire for you. Okay? All right, probably gonna be a lot of ifs in this one. Probably gonna be a lot of ifs. If this is gonna pull, if this is long enough, and if it doesn't get stuck somewhere. So, let's see. I'm expecting it to get stuck in two spots, the old joint and the new joint. All right, there's one. Okay, I think that was the old joint. That's good, I think. So far, so good. That might be the new joint. I hope the wire's long enough. All right, there's the old joint. Nope, stuck right here. Woo, that was scary. I need a few more feet. Please, 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 please. Oh, oh! Dude, that's perfect. I had set this up years and years and years ago for this pull, and I just got extremely lucky, because a lot of times it doesn't work. So out with the old. I got to wire in the existing outlet. I have this pulled from the switch box over there. Take the switches out, reconnect power after, and we should be good. This hasn't worked in years and years. Now I know why. There's the old joint there. Lucky. Here, this is for those of you that never really wired an outlet. All right, remember, I can push some of this up on the wall. So I'm going to strip a little bit of this wiring. A couple different ways to do it. No matter what I do, I got a hater somewhere that's going to tell me I did it wrong. So I'm going to lightly do it like this. Always somebody that knows a better way, or I'm doing it the wrong way. Whatever way gets it done without damaging the wire. Okay, see, there's no, people get worried that I just cut the wire. I didn't. Strip some insulation off. Okay. I don't want to push that up on the wall, so I want it to be long enough. Okay, that's good. I'm going to put a hook on here, going around my ground screw. Strip off some of this. Oop, wrong one. Enough so I can put a decent something on here, hook. If you've done these before, you can just skip this part. But these are for somebody that's new. Okay, my ground uninsulated wire goes on here. And always clockwise, my friends. Always put it clockwise. So when you tighten it, the joint will tend to tighten more. Okay. Not sure if I'm catching all this. I hope so. But you see, it screws tight clockwise. So if you run the wire clockwise, it tends to tighten it. On the same side goes your neutral. See, it's kind of a silver screw versus a gold color screw. Okay. Same deal. Put that on there if you need to. Break out some needle nose. Pinch this. Pinch this tight if you can around the screw. Okay. Pinch it tight around the screw. Tighten the screw. I believe if you're using a torque screwdriver, it's going to be 14 or 16 pounds or something like that, but just for demonstration purposes. All right, I can go out in the shed if I can try to find it. But at this moment, guys, give me a break. Okay, I know it's 14 to 16 pounds. Okay, you guys at home, if you know how to use a torque screwdriver, if you have one. But realistically, most people don't have a torque screwdriver. They're just going to tighten it down. But out in the field, we should. Okay, same thing, nice and tight. I've done a few of these, so no need to bust my nuts on what I'm doing here, okay? Okay, that's that. It's not going to work yet. I want to put some of this extra wire up in there. And then if you remember, I took this out. This actually holds the wire from pulling anymore, so I'm going to put that back in. All right, put electrical tape around here because you are dealing with electrical box. So if for whatever reason it shifts, somebody's got a vacuum plugged in and it moves, it could hit the side. Unlikely, but it's just good practice. And by the way, whoever deleted that part in these electrical boxes, they're my hero. That is the god awful worst freaking thing to try and get back up in there. All right, let me just put the outlet back in. Make sure these wires don't, the ground especially goes in. Doesn't short out on anything. All right, keep it away from the lugs on the side. Push it back in. I'm sorry, you probably can't see anything. All right. And the cover. All right, a little side note. If anybody's interested in stairs like that I put in years and years and years ago because I knew I was going to be going in the attic a lot, I'll try to find something similar on Amazon. I'll put a link to Amazon. I don't think I can get you any kind of discount, but it helps me out if you follow the link. And the reason why I had to put stairs like that is because the trusses in the house run this way. There's not enough room between the trusses to put the long stairs. So this I mounted up there and actually worked pretty good. I put the cover and I've been able to get in and up and out of there without falling down yet. So I'll put a link. Thank you. I'm almost positive that wire that ran over to here went down here, and it either passes through this box to that outlet there, or it's in this box. So I got to shut power off here, take the switches out, and yeah, we're going to connect that outlet back up. Family room, 28. Let's see, bathroom GFI, family room. All right, so the lights went out over there. Let's go check it out. Take it apart safely. All right, so I don't see any wires not connected in here. I'm guessing the wires are going to go right by to that outlet. It was never connected. The good news is I can take out some of my Leviton switches. I have a three-way and 2 regulars that I need, and that's going to be another video. Well, guess what? I found the wire. It wasn't in the box. It was down the wall behind the box. Woo! It took some time to find because I took out the outlet down there, pulled that out, pulled this out only as far as I could without undoing everything. And there's the wire in the wall. It doesn't matter that I'm putting it on with the switches because the rest of the switches in this room, the rest of the outlets in this room are on the same lighting circuit. There is a new circuit here for where we can put the TV and whatever, big stuff. That has its own circuit, so it doesn't much matter. It's just one fan, a couple little LED lights, and a couple outlets. So if I put it down on an outlet over there, if I connect it to power here, it doesn't much matter. It's coming from the same source. So let me cut this in. We'll give it a go. All right, so I get the wire connected. It took a while. It took like 15 minutes to get the wire connected in here. It's on this circuit. Now look. All right, so apparently this outlet hasn't worked forever because when I first moved in and noticed the wiring, I had cut it and removed the wiring because to me it wasn't safe. but I had ran a wire and left it up there, just never finished rewiring it. So pretty much now this house should all be rewired. And with that, I got to tighten that screw. With that, boom! Now we have power. Boom! It wasn't an easy fix, but for the new homeowners, it was worth it. Built you a good house. Everybody, I want to thank you for making it this far through the video. Hey, one thing I want you to keep in mind, these videos take a lot of work. You imagine carrying camera equipment, tripod, light up into the attic, down 2 or 3 times, setting it up on the floor, setting it up over there. These videos take a lot of work and a lot of time. This video probably took, to do the work here, probably 3 hours. And it'd probably take me another at least 2 hours to do the editing. So if you could support the channel by liking, subscribing, sharing the channel, become a member, or even buy me a coffee. Buy me a coffee /yourfloridaelectrician.com. That'd be really great. I appreciate you watching, appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for the support, and I have a ton more videos coming. Thanks again.